I guess I wanted to talk a little bit about addiction. If I'm truly honest with myself, I'd probably say that I'm addicted to my phone. Probably go as far as to say that not all addiction necessarily has negative consequences. You could, for example, be addicted to helping people, but even that must come at a cost. What is the cost of being addicted to helping people? And so, what I think it comes down to is that even though necessarily not all addiction does have negative consequences, it's about balance. If your lifestyle is unbalanced in any regard, that is likely not healthy for your mind and for your body. Be it too much work, too much exercise, too much fun, too much of anything. You've probably heard this a million times, but any one thing, too much of any one thing, is likely not the healthiest for you. So why am I telling you any of this? Well, I guess it doesn't really take a time like this to realize how much time we spend on our phones. But now, so more than ever, we're using online communication to connect with people, to learn, to consume content and media at insane rates. And none of that's a bad thing in itself, but as I said, it comes back to balance. Who of you have caught yourself unlocking your phone, swiping over a few screens, not looking at anything in particular, and then swiping back to the home screen and locking your phone? You're probably laughing right now, that little guilty laugh. Am I right? Yes, I'm right. Checking news, messages, emails, searching for something on Google, those are all okay and good things. But if we're checking our phones when there's nothing to check, just for the sake of checking, almost hoping in anticipation that a message or a notification will pop up in that exact moment, that's when we're starting to become hooked on this thing, craving the validation and the security and all the information that comes from it, because it gives us that dopamine rush, and that's really addictive. I've been doing class online for the last 2 weeks, which I've been very, very grateful for. But it's been the number one reason for me choosing to not turn off my phone at all, which is something that I really would like to do, to just turn my phone off for a few days and get away from all that noise and distraction that comes from being on my phone. And actually, one of my great friends, David, he models that so well. As frustrating as it is, trying to get in contact with him when his phone is turned off for days at a time, so much respect, and just inspired that he's able to do that. So thank you, David. And to be fair, class has been changing almost daily with the timetable and schedule, just because things are so uncertain at the moment. And a lot of that is communicated over WhatsApp, but it's also communicated over email. So technically I could actually turn off my phone for a few days and just use my laptop to communicate the essential communication. You may have entered this period of the lockdown feeling both nervous but maybe also a touch excited, wanting to do the things that you kind of always wanted to do and never get around to doing, like cleaning the cupboard, cleaning that set of drawers, especially the bottom drawer that just accumulates absolute garbage over a number of years, and you just keep stuffing stuff that you don't want in it. I've done that recently, so I can highly recommend cleaning drawers, especially the bottom 2 drawers or so, depending on how many there are. A big thing for me though is figuring out, if you're going to spend less time on your phone, what are you doing with that time instead? Because if you're not going to have a plan for what you're going to fill that time with that you're not going to be spending on your phone, then you will ultimately just revert back to being on your phone without you even realizing. And that can happen so quickly. So you need to figure out some things that you're going to be doing that are not phone related, and then go and do those things. But make sure they're things that you want to do. Go read a good book or a magazine, draw something, entertain your younger sibling, or if you have one, or play with your pets if you have pets. Call your grandparents and just have a proper conversation with them, see how they're doing. Work in the garden if you've got the garden, clean the house, write a poem or a song or a story, and do exercise. The more exercise you do, the better you feel. 100% guaranteed. So here are 5 things, 5 tips if you like, that I've been trying to do, and I still get them wrong at times, but I think they've been really helpful. The first one is not looking at my phone at least for the first hour after waking up in the mornings. What that allows me to do is just to start the day without being reactionary towards everything, constantly looking and receiving new messages first thing in the morning. That just sets your inner reactions going for either positive or negative. The second thing is to set app limits and to obey them. That's the big thing. It's very easy to set limits and not obey them. And that's my biggest struggle. Out of these 5, not obeying my app limits is the biggest struggle because it's so easy to not. What I do during the day is set time aside. So that's number 3, set time aside specifically for checking messages, for writing emails, for going on social media and browsing the web and watching some videos. Like, set time aside specifically to do those things because you want to do them, not because you compulsively just doing them all the time. The 4th thing that's really changed the way I sleep is to have my phone charging not next to my bed. So either on the other side of the room where I need to physically get out of bed to get to it, or in another part of the house, so not even in my own room. That way I know that it's going to be charged in the morning and I don't forget. And secondly, I'm not distracted as I'm in bed, during the night, or first thing in the morning, which is the first thing you want to be doing is getting on your phone. And then lastly, I try my best to turn my phone off for the whole day on Saturday and Sunday, except for 15 minutes in each day, to just check if there's anything important, or to post a photo or a story or something like that. Otherwise it's off and I'm not looking at it, I'm not thinking about it. And I can focus on whatever I'm doing that weekend, so spending time with family or doing other work. So those are my five top tips that I've been trying to work through. You probably have your own things that you're doing that may or may not include one of these, but if not, then maybe there's some inspiration for you, especially in this time. Otherwise, I think this is just some encouragement for the coming days and weeks. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but there's a lot of reward to be reaped from it. Love you guys.